Good evening, everyone. My name is Jane, and I'm on the Credo staff this year. Welcome to our masterclass with Freivogel. As you probably know, and especially if you signed up for this, Jay is the first violinist of the Jasper String Quartet and an alum of Oberlin College and Conservatory, where Credo would normally take place. And his quartet has won many awards together, including the prestigious Cleveland Quartet Award, and is currently the professional quartet in residence at Temple University Center for Gifted Young Musicians and the featured artist in residence at Swarthmore College. And today we'll have the chance to watch Jay work with Andrew on Beethoven's First Violin Sonata, Eleanor on the third movement of the Sibelius Concerto, and Brianna on the first movement of the Mendelssohn Concerto. And I just want to remind you of a few things before we get started. Please stay on mute unless Jay Freivogel instructs you otherwise. And if you're performing today, please make sure you have turned on original sound. And if you have questions about how to do that, you can message me in the chat. And then after this class, on this same Zoom link, we encourage you to stay on for a faith discussion called From Death to Life, based on Ephesians chapter 2, verses 1 through 10. And Mary Taylor, who you may remember if you're a Credo alum, will be leading that discussion. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Jay and our performers now.
Great. And so this goes till 8:30 or till 9?
Yeah, 30 minutes per person. I can keep an eye on time for you if you'd like.
Okay, I'll keep it. Yeah, I mean, if I'm going over, just let me know. I mean, being on a computer, there's a clock right there. But yeah, great. All right. So you all, I think, have probably met each other. But Andrew, just to introduce yourself to everybody else, can you tell us who you are, what you'll be playing, where you are, etc.?
Hi everyone, my name's Andrew. I'm from Cleveland. I go to Case Western Reserve University. I will be going into my senior year this year, and today I'll be playing the first movement of Beethoven's First Violin Sonata.
Great. And how long have you been working on this piece?
About 2 weeks.
Okay, cool. All right, so it's reasonably fresh.
Very reasonably fresh.
Great. All right, take it away. Good. I'm going to stop you there, actually. Good job. Resounding applause through mute. You can take a bow.
Oh, okay.
Good. Okay, so I wanted to stop you there because I think a lot of the things I'm going to discuss can be dealt with in this first part, and we'll go on if we have time. Okay. So we were talking about this a little bit in the Revel, but the main thing that I want you to think about is intention of what our bow strokes are, and a lot of that has to do with how we sculpt the beginning, the middle, and the end of the note. So in this case, we need to make sure that we are our eighth notes and our triplets and our sixteenths and our dotted notes and our sforzandos, that they're all distinct from one another and individual, and that we play them in a proactive way rather than like not this or not that, but we want this sforzando to be lively or whatever. So we'll get into that. Now, the instrumentation of this is with piano, of course, and so we have to take inspiration from a piano in terms of our note shapes. If you play, let's say, the opening chord that you have for the violin part in the piano, what immediately happens to the sound?
It sort of rings, depending.
It would ring, yeah. And does it grow? Does it stay the same, or does it decay?
I think it decays until the next chord.
So I mean, no matter what you do on a piano, as soon as you push that key down, it's immediately going to start to decay. It might be very slow, but the most energy in a piano note is at the very beginning of the note. There's no way to add extra energy in after that key has been pressed. And in a way, when we're playing with a piano, we can think of our bow in the same way. That we don't want to allow ourselves the opportunity to go like that, but instead that everything, the most energy, the impetus for every note is at the very, very beginning of it. Yeah? Can you try the opening, imagining you're playing a piano? Good. Now, I just want you to think about a couple note shapes. Can you just play the opening chord for me? Just the opening chord. Imagine you're going to go on, but don't go on. Good. Now what I'm hearing is like a little sting at the end. Imagine you go boom on a piano. Almost. So be attentive to the end of the bow stroke. Almost. I still hear going off the string. Allow yourself to be in charge of the end of that note. Good, good. Now, we don't have to be necessarily passive with the end of the note, and what we want to be doing is sculpting the end of the note the way we would like to hear it. If you were to just sing that first note, what syllable would you use?
Da.
Yeah. Now, do you notice the syllable that you just used has no ending to it? And that's the way your note is sounding. So the da has no consonant at the end, but we need something that has a that sound, or a ba or a da, some sound at the end. So bum, ba-ga-dum. A really good one to use a lot of times is sort of an M sound. Can you try to say that syllable of the first chord with an M sound at the end?
So dum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
Yeah, and ba-ga-dum, 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 ba-ga-dum. Have an M sound at the end of all of those. Try it again.
Dum, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum.
Good. Good. Now, the way that we control the end of that note, control is the wrong word, the way we sculpt the end of that note, gives a sense of energy. So we don't have to go to give energy, but instead, right? So you hear how the end of the note being intentional actually creates excitement. Try that. Good. That first note's really nice. I like your 16ths as well. Now your quarter notes with dots on them. What are you thinking about those notes?
I'm trying to make them ring, but I'm trying to clip them just so that I can stay in tempo with the piano. But I could probably vibrate or do something different with them.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's always something different we can do,
Yeah.
right? There's always something that somebody can pick apart. But mostly, I want you to have a very clear conception of what it is you're doing with your playing, right? So the 16ths are pickups. They belong to the chord note, right? Da-da-dum, ba-ga-dum, ba-ga-dum. They belong there. But I think our quarter note, it doesn't feel like a quarter note. It feels like a note that has a dot, so we think it should be short. You know what I mean? Imagine, just play without the 16th notes, just quarter notes with quarter rests in between. Good. Your up bows are great. Your down bows are clipped. So that, right? Allow yourself to have some substance to these notes. Try it again. Good. Now, can you imagine, just think in your head, what a piano would sound like playing those? Unfortunately, I don't have a piano right here, but boom, boom, boom. Think of the note shape that you get from a piano and just play the quarter notes again. Already improved. Already improved. Do it without the vibrato, just so we really hear how your bow is working. Almost, although, you know, like it doesn't feel like it has energy coming from the bow. Let's have the energy coming from the bow. Good. I like to think if I'm getting articulation that you probably want to start from the string in this case. So. Great. Your first note is excellent. The second note, just be more patient. So set, just set in between each one. Almost. It's a little bit falling. Just let yourself patiently set the bow. Good. Very well done. Do that again. Exactly the same thing. Up was a little bit too. A little. Dum, bum. Yeah. Now you're doing vibrato. Don't do it with vibrato. Do. Get it with the note shape. There you go. Excellent. Now, can you add the pickups? You can add the vibrato in too. Oh, almost. Yeah, several of them were great. Try it again. Good. This harmonic one has no control over the end of that note. I like harmonics in general, but this one, I'm not understanding the relationship of why we do a harmonic there and then close there. So I could be convinced about the harmonic, but right now I'm not convinced. That's better. So one thing that you did this time was that you vibrated the F sharp less. Because it sounds weird if we vibrate and then nothing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Try it again. Excellent. Excellent. Okay. Now try from the beginning. Good. I think that first note needs more kind of beauty to it. More beauty to that chord. Almost. Really good. I love the 16ths in the quarter notes. Those are really sounding good. That first note is it sounded like kind of stopping. Good. Okay, now this time we'll go on. What happens when we go on?
It's much more melodic, longer lines. So
Yeah, and what else happens?
the piano starts to take over with subdivisions.
Good, and what else happens?
Um,
Dynamically, what happens?
oh, you crescendo towards the end before subito piano.
Subito piano. So when you go on, da-da, should be piano, yeah?
Do you want from the beginning or?
From the beginning. Good. Now, I imagine are most of the people watching, are you looking at a score or not looking at a score? Not looking at a score, correct? Okay, perfect. So I want you to try, it's in 4/4. I want you to try to dictate the rhythm that he's playing. Okay? So see if you can tell me what note values Andrew is playing.
Is this from the beginning again? Or?
From the beginning. Okay, so far, what do we think? You can unmute. Tell me what do we think his first note is? Any guesses? Play the very beginning for us again, Andrew. Good. So our pulse is this. Okay. So that should help. Try it one more time. Okay. So what do we think the first note? What's the note value of that first note? Don't worry if you get it wrong. It's fine. What do we think? Yeah, go ahead. Just unmute and holler it out.
Whole note?
Whole note. Good guess. Not a whole note. So here's our pulse. Dum. Okay? Go ahead and play it again. 1, 2, ready, go. What do we think?
Half note?
Half note, good guess. Now a half note.
Is it a dotted quarter?
Dotted quarter, not a dotted quarter.
Dotted half?
Dotted half. Yeah, dotted half. So partly it's hard to do dictation, and partly we need to play in a way that it's really clear how long our note is. So a dotted half note really should cut off on 4. Ya, ba-ga-dum, ba-ga-dum. So don't cut off on 3. Da, da-ga-da, da, da-ga-dum, ba-ga-dum. So it makes the rest even more vital, even more fiery. Good. Then when you go on, this is what I was getting to originally. When you go on, I want it to really be clearly a 16th. Don't. Not yada, not kind of a lingering 16th, but really sparkly. Da-da, da. Good. Now, is there a reason you're doing it separated instead of slurred?
Yeah, my edition just had a down bow on the 8th, but I could switch it.
Oh, here. So I think that, and then what do you do on the next one?
I have down up again.
Oh, say, okay, so you go. Okay, that's fine. I'll buy that. But I in here, at least in the one you sent in the Henley score I have, I think it implies a slur. Like I think there's a slur kind of in there. So just know that it has to be played in a way that it feels very connected.
Okay.
Right there.
So.
Good. Now here I'm going to talk a little bit more about note shapes in a second, but here's where I want you to use the meter to your advantage. Okay? I'm unclear where your strong bars are and where your weak bars are. They all feel about the same. So musically, where are you leading to?
So I guess 8. Like 13 feels like a new beginning, and then.
Agreed. 13. So up until 13. So from 5 through 12, which are our strong bars and which are our weak bars?
I actually don't know. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So when we're talking about sort of like phrasing and strong bars and weak bars, it can follow what many of us are probably aware of about hierarchy of strength of beats inside a bar. Okay, so if we're in a 4/4 bar, what's the strongest beat?
1.
1. What's the next strongest beat?
Probably 3.
3. Right. 3 is next strongest, but it's not as strong as 1. Right. So you have 1, 2, 3, and then 4 is sort of a pickup. And you can apply that same hierarchy onto bars when you're trying to come up with a big phrase. Okay? So in this case, how long is our phrase? How many bars is our phrase?
About 8 bars.
8 bars. 8 bars works pretty nicely into divisions of 4, right? So let's imagine dum ba da 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 2 ba da 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 3 ba da da 4 da 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 da. Does that make sense? Good, good, good. So that piano at the end, we don't want to lose our sense of phrasing. So we do the subito dynamic because that's cool. That's what makes it Beethoven. But we don't want to lose our sense that it's the 4th bar leading a pickup to measure 13. Try it again. Good, yeah. So do you have a metronome close by chance?
Yeah.
Could you put your metronome on about could you put it on about 90? Good, good. Now just do the piano at 12. Good, again. Feels a little bit on the backside. Keep it excited, even though it's quiet. Still late to that downbeat. You see how it's behind? Yeah? So you're already going forward. Try again. Try again. Good, right. So what felt comfortable to play the all of a sudden feels uncomfortable to play this part, yeah? Okay, so that was about 90, right? Could you put it on 45? So go to the same. Yeah, go to the same tempo. Go actually back to 5.
Oh, to 5. Oh, I can't. Oh, I don't know why I can't feel that.
That's okay. So internally, give yourself that subdivision. So bum ba da 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 dum ba da. I'm trying not with your metronome for you, but. Good. Try it again.
Yeah.
You can do it. So you have to provide that rhythmic excitement inside the long line. Yeah, and did you see how you want to play slower when you play piano? If anything, when you play piano, you have to play more energetically. Okay? All right, so keep your metronome on for a second. Put it back on 90. And can you play this next section here at 21? Good. Now, do you hear how it's a little bit... If we look here, maybe you guys can see my part, the score. It's right here. And notice you're playing straight with the piano, right? So we don't want to take any extra time when we're filling in those piano 16th notes. So, dum, dum, so be prepared to go. So immediately you have to get to, right? And then be right prepared to go before you even give your cue. Prepared with the bow. Good. I think you're a little bit sluggish getting set. Get your bow set on the second quarter of the bar. Great, great. Now play a good downbeat and then set your bow. Almost. Try it again. Don't be sluggish on that separate. Yeah, be on time to the up bow. Good. Good. Try it again. It's a little slow to the up bow. That's it. That's it. Yeah, you need that excitement. So this isn't a spot that you can just like kind of take a sense of rubato. Here you have to be right in tempo. Okay, one last thing. And amazingly, we only have 1 minute left. But can you jump to measure 55? Can you play that? Good. Now, play the very opening for me again. The very beginning. Okay, so that. Ba-ga-dum, 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 ba-ga-dum. So you're going about, that's about 88. Okay? So put your metronome on, maybe 90 was too fast, put your metronome on 88. And play the triplet passage. Good. So the triplets, we want them to be kind of, they should be more spacious than the 16ths, but they need to be in this pretty darn close to the same tempo, yeah? Try it again. Good, try it one more time. Good. Now, go ahead and turn your metronome off. Now, when you're first learning a piece, I think it can be really beneficial to do, you can do one, how should I put this? It's really helpful to do slow practice, but when you do slow practice, you have to have everything relatively the same to everything else, right? If we just play the 16th slow, but then we play these fast or vice versa, then we don't understand how these different textures, these different rhythms are in dialogue with each other. So I would encourage you to like put your metronome on maybe 72, okay? And see how much character you can put into these 16th note runs or the 32nd, or the triplets or the 8th notes or the sforzandos. Put it on a slow tempo. See how much character you can put it in and then gradually work that up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But make sure you have intention to the beginning, middle, and end of the bow stroke. Yeah? All right, cool. Shall we move on? Good job. Okay, who's next?
I am.
Great. I'm not seeing you just yet. Ah, there we go. Is it possible to... I wonder if I can do this. Oh, no. I can only chat. There we go. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, that's great. That's perfect. Okay. Go ahead. Why don't you go ahead and play a little bit, and I'll stop you, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Is this Sibelius' last movement?
Yes. Yes.
Lots of uproarious applause, I'm sure, in our own private rooms. Okay, so first of all, can you tell us a little bit about you? How long have you been playing this piece? Where are you from? Where are you currently?
I'm from Chicago. I'm 17. I have been playing this piece a few months, so since like March.
And what grade are you in school?
I will be a senior next year.
Okay, cool. And so you're applying to schools? Are you wanting to go into music or no?
I'm undecided. but
Undecided. And what are your other interests other than music?
Those are also undecided.
Gotcha. Okay. Are you undecided because there's some concern about how difficult it is to make it in music or no?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And do you have siblings?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you younger, older? I'm wondering how you got going on the violin.
I'm the third out of four, but I'm the first to play violin. My piano classmate played violin, and I copied her.
Cool. That's great. Well, you play exceptionally well. You play really, really well. I want we'll just touch on a few things. You said you played piano, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the nice thing about having played piano is that you generally, as a pianist, have a better understanding of harmony than people who just play violin. It wasn't until I really seriously did quartet stuff that I got much better awareness of harmony and how it affects the tone quality that we want to get in our playing. Okay. So let's just start on this page that we stopped in, and then we'll work our way backwards. Okay. So at let's look at 5. Can you play from 5, rehearsal 5, until the rest one more time?
Okay.
Good. So you're doing a really nice job technically with all this stuff. Now, musically, where you're starting, which notes are dissonant and which notes are not dissonant in terms of the harmony that we're playing? Like, just take those first 2 bars at 5. Sorry, one second. I have to close this door. But what do you think? Which of those first 2 bars, which ones are dissonant?
I'd say the first of each like little slur are
Okay, and it resolves where?
on the beats.
So, okay, so play it slowly, exaggerating what is tense and what is resolved. So are the beats outlining a harmony?
Yes.
What harmony?
A diminished chord.
Yeah, a D sharp diminished chord, right? Dum, ba, ba, da, 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 dum. Flavor of a D sharp diminished chord or diminished chords in general should be what? Like, what emotional content do they have?
They're tense.
Why? What makes them tense?
They're dissonant. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but which intervals specifically are dissonant?
The minor third. Oh, sorry. The minor 7th. Diminished stuff.
No. So which notes are diminished in a diminished chord?
The 7th.
I'll just say that you know a lot more about theory than I ever knew. That when I was your age, but that you're doing a great job. So what makes a diminished chord diminished? Can anyone help her out? The fifth, right? So they're no longer regular fifths; they're diminished fifths, right?
Yes.
And as a result, that creates a sense of rub, right? Dissonance. And dissonance in music is a wonderful thing because it provides propulsion, or energy of some kind. So just play once, only the main notes of the beat of this arpeggio. So da 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 da. Can you just play from 5? Now, right now, you're hearing them as they relate, like in your hand position, right? I want you to just think of them, take them out of Sibelius and turn them just into a regular arpeggio. So just play dum bum 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 bum. Just get into that framework. Good. And when we have this dissonance in the sound, in the harmony that we're playing, I think it needs to be reflected in the intensity of the sound. So have some kind of grip, some pull through the bow stroke. Now, what diminished harmony are we playing? How do we know what we call it?
I'm not sure.
So you do it if you like line all of the notes up on a staff. You take the lowest note. So if you line all these notes up, what do you end up with as so that they're evenly spaced?
Mm-hmm.
Ends up being the lowest note.
The D sharp.
D sharp, right? So this is a D sharp diminished chord.
Mm-hmm.
So can you imagine this underneath? So really feel the kind of intensity of that chord. Try it again. Like it's a D sharp diminished chord. I mean, that's the way it was written. Is that the different notes kind of slot into that chord with different amounts of intensity? Okay, so the A is going to be the most intense. The C, tom pom, is maybe leading you to the A. D sharp is going to be the most kind of aligned because that's what our chord is we're playing. So each one of these 8 notes that you're playing needs its own distinct sound. Okay, it's all part of a D sharp diminished arpeggio, but we want it to have its own distinct sound. Try it again.
Unfortunately.
For some reason, Jay.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Oh, now we can.
Sometimes it happens. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
If that happens again, just be like, yo, I can't hear you. Thank you for saying that. Is it going in and out?
It was, but it seems better now.
Okay, cool. I said something really important when it was out, of course. I can't remember what it was, but it was super important. So let's try that again. Try it from there again. So from that awareness of now, can you play da da dum da da dum ba da dum ba da dum? So it's not da da yum like it's going to some relaxed note, but it's actually leading us into this dissonance.
Mm-hmm.
Did I cut out?
No.
Okay.
Oh, did I?
No. You're good. You're good. Oh, Zoom is so wonderful. I love Zoom. Good. And I think by the time you get to the bottom there, we don't want to be like this, but more ta-dum, like, oh, what's going to come next?
Okay.
Good. Go on to the next one now.
The one going up or down?
Okay, so the the 16th notes, what are we playing here? What are we playing there?
I'm so sorry. I am floundering. That would be a G.
There's G in there.
Oh, wait. See, this is. It changes. No. Oh dear.
Okay, so a really good thing for you to do would be to go through some of this and just look at what's going on in the orchestra part. Like the orchestra part, basically what we need to figure out in playing the violin part is we need to understand which notes belong to the chords and which notes don't belong to the chords. Because the ones that don't belong to the chords are the ones we can really be expressive on. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of different ways of thinking about harmony. On their whole, different keys or different harmonies that we play in, they kind of can have their own flavor, right? A C major chord is going to sound different from a C sharp major chord. But then in a sort of melodic sense, we also want to understand how notes that we're playing, the ones that belong and the ones that don't belong into the chord, so that we can kind of, we want to bring out those dissonances. That's what it helps us be expressive. So when I heard this page, technically you were playing it excellently, but I didn't feel the progression of how you were leading us through the harmony, how you were using harmony to create a sense of energy and excitement. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so let's just try from the beginning of this page, from you know the top of this page. See if just on the fly, sensitizing yourself to some of these harmonies, see if they can, see if it alters anything about how you play it. Okay, try it. Good. Now, sorry. I said I was going to let you play, but I didn't. Sorry. So this, what are you arpeggiating right here in the first bar?
A F sharp minor.
You got it. And how long does that F sharp minor chord arpeggio last?
Like 2.5 lines.
2.5 lines, right? So in terms of your imagination of how you develop this, make sure you have that really long scope in mind. Yeah. Try it again. Already so much more interesting. Already more interesting. So what's going on here? Oh, sorry, I was looking for my Sibelius score here. Piano part, not score. So like right here, you just have, there's not much going on in the piano part. You know? So it's all about how you can kind of spool this story of the F sharp minor arpeggio. Have it last as long as you can. It feels a little bit like it could be more active in terms of how you're kind of leaning into those notes. See if you can see if you can lean into those. Let's see. See if you can carve out those slurs a little bit using your bow. Yeah? Try it one more time. So I should have been asking you to play the piano part for Andrew. So then we would hear the piano. I see your piano right behind you there.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you know what's going on when you, like at 5, for instance? Can you see this?
Mhm.
Have you played it with piano before?
I did a little while ago, briefly. It's been.
Sometimes it can be helpful. So like when you're playing in chamber music, it can be a really valuable thing when you're playing an accompaniment part to sing the melodic part in your mind, you know? So sometimes even just playing that part so you get it in your head can be helpful. How well do you play piano? Do you play piano as well as you play violin or no?
Uh,
Comparable?
Sure, not.
So like you could play this piano part is what I'm saying.
Probably.
Yeah. So because you're in this like unique position, then you could play the piano part. I think it'd be really important for you to play the piano part and imagine the violin line with it. So that then when you're playing the solo violin part, you understand how it's fitting together. Because in Sibelius especially, in everything, but in Sibelius it happens a lot, that the interaction between the violin part and the orchestra part is part of what creates a lot of the drama. You know? Okay, so I'm going to leave this for a second. Just think about that idea of harmony. Okay, can we go to number 4? Number 4. Can you play number 4 for me? Rehearsal 4. Can you play it about this tempo? Yup, up, 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 up. Okay, good. You're doing a beautiful job with a lot of the aspects of this. Can you imagine that it's a slow movement? Let's slow it way down. And I want you to imagine it as a slow movement because in slow movements we find much more development between notes, you know, because they last a lot longer. So can you play yum bum 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 ba 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 bum ba ba da da ya dum, and really make every little kind of curve as beautiful as you can make it.
Should I do this détaché then?
Sure. Good. Nice. Okay. We'll do this we'll do this again. When you have a series of 16th notes or repeated notes, rarely do we want them to be just like 4 4 4 4 or 12 12 12. We want to find subdivisions within those notes that can make them like a little bit more understandable, a little bit more interesting for our ear. Okay. So could you try at the beginning here? Yum, ba da da dum, ba 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 bum, ba 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 bum. That from the second 16th, so we're going 1 2 3 4 1 2 3, just a little bit like that. Good, and I liked how you evolved the groupings of the notes. I think when you get to the 4th bar of 4, yum, ba da 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 ba da da maybe it's kind of like 1 8 and 3. You know what I mean by that? So 1 note, 8 notes, 3 notes. See if you can play right from that fourth bar of 4. Great, great, great. Try that one more time. And can you, in the course of doing all of this shaping, do it in the dynamics that Sibelius gives us? So, right, do you have that diminuendo like the fourth bar of 4?
Yes.
Yeah, down to piano. So allow yourself to do all the shaping you're doing, but within the context of the dynamic.
Okay. I'm really exposing my intonation right now. Oh no, shaping.
Beautiful, really beautifully done. Now, the one you seem to have the most difficulty with is that F natural in the fourth bar. How do you know where that F natural is? Da 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 da. That F. How do you know where it is relative to what you've been playing?
It's a perfect fourth.
Good, yeah, but how does that help your first finger know where to go? Are you playing with your first finger?
Yes. I think my first finger does not know where it goes.
So how can we find it? Thank you
I
for your honesty. Now, let's find it.
Okay.
So, where is your first finger before you play that?
On G.
On the G flat, right?
Yes.
Right? So here, play that measure one more time. Good. Now, how far is an F from a G flat?
Half step.
Half step, right? So you shift up to that G flat, and that's really nicely in tune. So when you go da 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 da, do you go a 3 on the B flat?
On which one?
On the B flat. You play 3 there? So just have that little half step there. Exactly. So that F should actually be pretty reliable because you play the G flat right before it. Okay, try it again. Try that same thing again. Good. And then just think third position. Like you know where third position is for sure. Try it one more time. Okay, so right where you're starting, and I realize you won't be starting in this. You won't be coming from that note, but make sure you're setting your hand based on your first finger, not based on your 4. Don't work your way backward. Work your way up. For arpeggios like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so find 1, 3, 4 before you play. Good. Excellent. Excellent. So understanding how the framework of your hand is helping you play in tune is really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now in our negative 1 minute that we have, can you play a little bit quicker from 4 now? With the same excitement, same interest in all of the kind of winding ways of this tune. Good. And da 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 dum ba-da-da. Really take that rest. Like give something in that rest that it doesn't just feel like da 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 ba da 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 da. Yeah, try it one more time. Beautiful, beautiful. And so you missed a shift, big deal, but you played with a really great sense of intensity and intention. Okay, one time at tempo.
Okay.
Do all of that shaping though. That was so good, and you even had the shift there. The one thing, and we don't have time to go over this, but when you go, when you're playing that, in an effort to group them together, leading there, you're kind of connecting the second and third 16ths of the beat. Make sure you still have the sculpting, the shaping to the end of that bow stroke. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Great. All right, excellent playing. Really, really, really good playing.
Thank you.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
Can you tell us, I forgot to do this last time, but can you tell us who you are and where you are and what you'll be playing?
Okay. My name is Bree Cobby, and I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm going to be playing the first movement of the Mendelssohn Concerto.
Great. And how long have you been working on this?
About a month and a half.
Great. And what age are you?
I'm 16.
Great. Good. Okay, so I'm going to work on a little bit of here, just so we have time, and then we'll go on. Good job. Sorry to have you only play one page. Okay. That's really good.
Thank you.
Okay, so one of the things in Mendelssohn that I think is really important, we were talking a little bit about it with Eleanor, is finding and understanding what hand position we're in. Because there's a lot of hand positions you're in and then extensions that you have out of those hand positions. Yeah. So right at the beginning, what position are you in?
Second.
Second, okay? And then you go to where?
I think fourth.
Fourth, great. And then you go to where?
I go to fifth and then back down to fourth, so it's like an extension.
What's an extension?
The G.
Exactly. So the G is an extension. So you have to shift to sort of an extension. Okay, so can you just play those very first, what is that, 4 bars, kind of slowly? Dum, ba, ba, da. Good. Now, I was talking about this with Eleanor, but it's the same thing that I want and this goes for everything, that when we're thinking about our hand positions, we want to understand where the first finger is. Okay, so in that case, we want to understand our first finger is actually on a C natural. Yeah? So can you try? Just play that with those ghost notes in there. Good, because we want to understand. We want to understand how much we should open up these knuckles for that stretch. Yeah, just do it a few times. Good, good. Try that again. Shake your hand out. Make sure when your fourth finger is going down, we're aiming for it to be curved, right? Sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but we really want it to be curved. Try it again. Good. Now I want you to do another iteration of this, which is when you shift up to that C, can you open up your hand so we get used to having that fourth finger extending, that hand opening up. Yeah, same thing again. Almost, right? So we need to open up a little further, right? Open up that fourth finger. Really think of spreading your knuckles here. Try it again. Good. Very good. Shake your hand out. Do it again. This time, what's your bowing at the beginning? Is that your bowing at the beginning?
No, I go up, and then I slur the B into the G, and then the E is separate.
Correct. Yeah, great. So then make sure we'll shift on the old bow.
Okay.
Right? So good. Yeah. So my teacher, when I was growing up, called those ghost notes. Okay? Because we use them as aids, but then we gradually have them disappear. Okay? So now play the opening with those ghost notes, but have them a little bit less audible than we were just playing. Great, great. Do it again. And the thing that we want to do, the way we make them less audible is by coordinating them more and more with our bow change. So you make them less audible by altering how you use your bow, not by altering how you use your left hand. Try it again. Excellent. Really well done. Do that again. Great. And just make sure when you go to that C that you're opening your hand all the way. Try it again. Good, good. Now let's try to get rid of them completely.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Good. Trust in the extension. Trust that extension of your fourth finger. Good. Now, one of the main reasons that we want to feel super duper confident in this opening is that you have a bar and a half before it starts. You know, like if you're playing with an orchestra, they go da 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 da, and then you're on spotlight. You know, so you want to make sure that you like could wake up in the middle of the night and play it. That you know exactly your roadmap for this opening set of shifts. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
When we're practicing, we have to practice in a way that we are incorporating being relaxed in the moment. Okay, so you want to practice shifting, you want to practice changing your bow, practice preparing in a way that when you get into a pressure situation, whether it's like a lesson or a concert or an audition, that you feel like you've prepared for being in that moment. We don't want to practice being tight, we want to practice being loose. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's try this very opening. Oh, okay, I'm going to talk about something else about the opening, which will also help. So that's the left hand. Now let's talk about the right hand. If we look at the number of beats that we have down bow versus up bow, do we have more down bow or more up bow?
Down.
More down bow, right? Like quite a bit more down bow in the opening couple bars, yeah? So what does that tell us?
Use more bow when going on the down bow.
So if we have more beats on the down bow, we actually have to save on the down bow and spend on the up bow. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It also makes a difference of where we start. Sorry, when I go into the slide, I get like super overexposed, like a ghost. Yeah, okay, here we go. So when I start this, usually if we're out here, then we're stuck, yeah? But if we start here, it allows us to use our bow to create a sense of phrasing. Okay? Try starting right at the balance point, just right around the balance point. Save your bow. Actually, let's do that. Just play open string ones. Good. Are you slurring? Okay, so it will go. Yeah, try that.
I do that on a down bow.
Which part?
Da, 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 that part.
How do you get to a down bow on that?
So up, down, and then up, and then down, up, down.
So you go. Even more reason to save. Oh my gosh, you have so many down bows in these first 4 bars. Okay, so then your bowing will be. So that whole first part needs to be in the lower half. Try it again. Good, but make sure. Da dum ba da da. Sorry. Oh wow, I really can't hit that note. Da dum ba da 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 da. Make sure you don't use too much bow on. But da 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 da. You know what I mean? Good. Now, who's your favorite violinist?
It's Zuck Perlman.
Great. So imagine Itzhak Perlman is playing this, and move your bow like you think his bow moves. So sing his playing in your head. Yeah? And move your bow as if your bow arm is his bow arm. Good. Now I'm going to ask you to alter that a little bit. I love the energy, but you came off the string there, and I don't think that's what Itzhak Perlman does, right? So yeah, try it again. Good. Although your bowing should create a different rhythm than you just played. Play the bowing of the rhythm of the bowing. Almost, almost. I'll leave it for right now. Go ahead and try playing it with your left hand.
Sorry.
Good. Now, see what I hear at the beginning is that you're lifting off the string, but I don't think there's anything to indicate that we should have lifts. There's no dots on it. So make sure that your bow, when you're having these bow changes, that the line continues through the bow changes.
Okay. Good.
Good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Do it again and go on. Good. Okay, now back to my original query, which is this an extension or is this a shift? To the E, is it an extension or a shift?
An extension.
Great. So don't leave third position, right? Try that. From da 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 da. Great. Now, in order for your fourth finger not to be straight, you have to do a couple of things. One, I think your elbow can help you out a little bit more. Swing your elbow under. The other is make sure this part of your hand, gosh, it's so overexposed. Sorry, this part of your hand is not away from the neck, but allow yourself to come closer to the neck. Come a little bit closer to the neck with these knuckles. Good. Where's your thumb?
It's right.
Is it, yeah, is it right opposite your first finger?
Yeah.
Make sure it's directly opposite your first finger.
I
Great.
think so, yeah.
Okay, try that again. That's good, but it looked a lot like a shift.
Okay.
Yeah. Great. Now, good job not shifting. Something that you should work on with your teacher is trying to find a way to get your fourth finger curved.
Okay.
Because the main reason is that our fourth finger is pretty weak this way. There's a couple of reasons why we don't want this. So because it's a little bit weaker flat, it's more prone to getting kind of injured, right? So you could kind of hurt, you could strain it. But also it makes it really hard to vibrate if your finger is not curved. Because you need to be able to wiggle this knuckle in order to vibrate, right? So just with your teacher as a little project, see if you can work on straightening, on curving your fourth finger. Okay. So let's go from here. Extension. Okay. Go on from there.
Okay. I have one question. So for the pinky, mine is double jointed. So like I don't know if you can tell. So
Yeah.
Like every time I go like that, it like bends weird. So like, is there any way that like I could curve it? Like any tips?
Yeah. Okay. So I was actually just working on with one of my students on this who is also double jointed. My guess is that you're not only double jointed in your pinky. Is that right? You're double jointed probably in all of your fingers.
Yeah.
But somehow we managed for the other fingers to be curved in a beautiful way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it has to do with the length of our pinky relative to the other fingers. That's one thing. That's just the reality. In order to get your fourth finger curved, let's see if this helps. If you put your third finger down, let's say just in first position, just put your third finger on a D. Go ahead and play it. Good. Now just put a half step right above it. Good. Great. See, when you do that and you have the support of your third finger, your pinky comes down nice and straight. Okay? Take your hand out. Let's do the same thing. Put a 3 down. Good. Now, using that framework of the third finger, can you put a 4 down on an E?
I don't know if you can tell what it's doing, but it's like.
Yeah, good. So imagine, first of all, support from your elbow. And imagine your fourth finger comes up and over, kind of up and over landing. And you don't have to push down hard. Perfect. Great. Now take your hand away from your violin for a second. And put your violin in rest position. Now, if you just go like this in midair, what happens to your fourth finger?
It's curved.
Right, it's curved, right? Let's stretch it and go like that. Can you curve it and stretch it? Right, still curved, yeah? So we have this thing that all of a sudden we start holding our violin and our body starts doing weird things, you know? So what's happening is that because you're double jointed, you may have like slightly less strength, like you might not have built up strength in your pinky. So playing the violin is not necessarily the same as just doing this in the middle of air because you need some strength to put it down. But it's essentially the same motion, right? So let's try to get our violin back up and see if you can, without thinking of pushing the string down, just having your pinky land gently. Good. Bring your wrist back just a little bit. Kind of open up your wrist. Bring your thumb forward. Yeah. Good. And just like land on like a harmonic, like. So just play where the 4 goes. Good. Is that curved?
Not really.
Can you go like this? The third finger. And then fourth finger. Great. Now, when this is something I learned a little bit later. When we're playing up through really fourth position, this bass knuckle should be attached to the neck of the violin. Okay? Like that. I didn't learn that until I was going, I mean, I probably learned it when I was young, but I didn't get reminded of that until going into college. Okay, so can you try to play these harmonics with your bass knuckle here attached to the side of the violin? Good. Can I see that first finger? Can you turn the scroll toward the camera? Great. Great. Do that again. Excellent. Excellent. Now, take that third finger and just push it down. Great. Now play the 4. Excellent. Perfect. Yeah, curved, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, the other thing I want you to think about is what the mechanism, how it's actually, gosh, it's so overexposed. Okay, I'll just put my finger over here. When our fourth finger is going down, we don't want to think about the tip of the finger, but you see like, let's see if you can see this. Can you see in my,
No.
you see when I'm moving my pinky, do you see what's moving in my forearm?
Yeah.
Right? So when we're actually putting our pinky down, it's not like the tip of our finger is going in isolation. It's all the way down here, like in our elbow. It connects up here into our shoulder. But imagine that you're putting this fourth finger down all the way from down here. Okay, can you try that? Put 3, 4. And put it from down here, not from the tip. Good. Try that again. Shake it out. 3, 4. Good. Okay. So that's those are some aspects of how I think you could work on the curved fourth finger. The other thing that would be really valuable for you to do is to practice thirds. Do you ever practice thirds?
Sometimes.
Because what thirds do is they give you a hand position that kind of follows fourth finger follows the third finger. So you can do a really easy thirds exercise, which is something I do sometimes, which is I just go back I just go back and forth like that. Can you just try that? So just 3 and 1 to 2 and 4.
Oof, sorry.
It's okay. So just try that. Good. Try that again. Good. And we're going to do overlap bowing. So good. Try that again. And as you're going through, allow your elbow to support. Good. Now go up to second position. So slide up. Boom. Good. Bring your thumb along with you. Keep going. Good. So I'm looking for this one exercise that I just keep going. Keep going. I might be able to find it here. Yeah.
Going up.
Same thing. Yeah. Second position again. Good. Okay. Has anybody ever seen this before? Korgoff? Yeah? Okay, so I even think that this isn't how it's actually supposed to be spelled. I'm not quite sure how it's supposed to be spelled, but I was given to this by my teacher, okay? I'm going to take a picture of this and put it into the chat. This is a really good way of working on finger independence and also the placement of our fingers, okay? So you can, I'll put this in and you can, actually I'll send it to Jane because I don't want to hold up your time.
I probably have it too, but yours looks more clean than mine. So.
Oh, impressive! That's good. Yeah, it's somehow I think it's handwritten. I don't know exactly what's going on with this, but so I'll take a picture and I'll send it to Jane and she can send it along. But that's a really good way of building up a sense of strength in our fingers and building up a sense of how they should come down.
Okay.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm hesitant to actually get into anything else with only 1 minute left because I tend to talk too much. Do you have any further questions?
I don't think so.
Okay, so the something that I've been working on with the people I've had lessons with thus far has been especially how to use our bow to create a sense of shaping, and you can really, really do that. Use your bow to create your sense of line in this opening of the Mendelssohn. And then to have stability, to have comfort, just make sure you really are clear what position you're in as you're shifting, whether you're extending, and so forth. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good luck with that piece. It's a great piece. Yeah. Enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, everyone. If you have any questions, just email me. It's jfreivogel@gmail.com. Yeah.
And make sure if you want to stay for Mary's talk, you can stay on right now. I think she's going to do a 5-minute break just before that starts, but maybe she can come and say something so I'm not stealing her thunder.
Okay, great. Okay, all right. Bye.
Bye. Thanks so much, Jay.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Mary. So we are going to have, for anyone who wants to stay, we're going to have a faith discussion starting, I'm going to give you all about 5 minutes. I know you've been on for a while, so take a break, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do. And if you'd like to stay, then I'll see you back at 7:35.